Hello, welcome to UX Fundamentals. I'm Crispy Emmert, and I look forward to teaching you about how to make the world a better place through UX. I'm going to go over the course overview, but first, let's talk about user experience or UX, what it is, and why it's important. Now, you can love or hate Apple, but there's no denying that lately, the most successful companies have differentiated themselves through a good user experience. Good user experience is about how it works, not just about what it looks like. And that's why I chose this quote. And that's what this course is about. I'm going to teach you the tools to create something that works great on any device, as opposed to just looking great. Let's play an imagination exercise. Think about the websites and apps that you use most often and why you use them so often. Is it because they're easy to use? They allow you to do what you set out to do? Now think about frustrating websites. What's the last site you visited where you were really frustrated? Or think about an app you downloaded that didn't live up to its promise. The difference between the good experience and bad experience was probably due to whether the designers followed a user-centered process or not. That's what this course will teach you about, taking a user-centered design approach to UX design, not just about UI design. People confuse UX and UI all the time. Think about the sites that are easy to use. You probably didn't like them because they had a beautiful interface. Similarly, thinking about the bad user experience you had, it wasn't due to an ugly interface. It was because you couldn't find something or it was hard to complete a task. So that illustrates that a great or a poor user experience isn't about the UI. It's about the fact that you were able to easily complete a task and you felt pretty good about doing it. So just to define user experience or UX, it's basically designing great experiences for users. And this course will show you what it takes to create great experiences. It doesn't matter what device. It could be a mobile device, a smartwatch, a kiosk. The principles of user-centered design, considering the user, their needs and goals, fully understanding the problem you're trying to solve, and improving your designs based on user feedback, can apply to any device. Now, before I show you how to create great user experiences through user-centered design, let's talk about what contributes to bad UX. Some impacts to user experience. Number one, designing for yourself, not considering how others would use the design. That's also known as design-centered design, and it's the opposite of user-centered design. Another impact to user experience, thinking that the user experience is merely an interface. Pretty UI doesn't always result in a great experience. Now, user-centered designs are based on an understanding of your users, understandings and insights. And unless your designs are driven by user insight, if you're just thinking about the interface, you're basically just moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. And speaking of the Titanic, here's a very common model that we use in user experience design to illustrate why we shouldn't focus on the user interface. And actually, my colleague here on Pluralsight, Keith Harvey, has a great course called Hacking the User Experience, UX for Developers, where he talks about this iceberg model and has some really great things to say about it. Basically, what it means is the user interface, it's like the visible part of an iceberg. Everybody can see it, but there's actually a great deal of depth below the surface that people may not be aware of, but it certainly impacts the user experience. And so all of these disciplines and activities that go on underneath the surface are what I'm going to cover in this course.